Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Īśvara Jīva Yasoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Haraye Namaha Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Rama Sri Madhusudana Hari Haraye Namaha Hari Haraye Namaha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs that there are 4 principles that a devotee should follow if the devotee wants to be successful in spiritual life. First, the devotee must feel himself meek and humble, lower than a blade of grass, lower than the straw in the street. Number 2, one has to learn tolerance. How tolerant? Like the tree who does not protest when drying up and dying of thirst. The tree does not protest when people carve their initials in its skin. The tree does not protest or ask anything when people take its fruits and flowers and branches and twigs, or even when they're cut down, the tree does not, it simply tolerates. Lord Chaitanya gives us this tree meditation to teach us what it means to be tolerant. Number 3, the devotee must offer all respects to all living entities, because every living entity is the resting place of Krishna, because as we learn from Bhagavad Gita, Savasya Chaham Hriddhi Sanivishta, Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Lord Chaitanya then says, number 4, one should not expect any personal honor. One should not worry about what other people are saying or thinking. One should simply spend one's time in this way, easily always chanting Krishna's holy name. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Tonight I will speak on Bhagavad Gita, but one mantra from the Upanishads is very instructive. Yasya deve para bhakti, yata deve tha gurau, tasyate khat hita hiyarta, prakashante mahatmanaha. This prayer mantra from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad instructs us that who actually understands the Vedic scriptures, who is the certified knower of the Vedic scriptures, it is that person who has equal faith in God, Krishna, and similar faith in one spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is the external representative of Krishna in the heart. In the teachings of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, very early in the first chapter, the author explains that although Krishna is within the heart, he is not perceivable because we are conditioned by this material mind and body. Because we are conditioned, we cannot see, even though Krishna is there, we cannot see. So, the Super Soul, Paramatma, Krishna in the heart, manifests externally as one's spiritual master. There is no difference between the teachings of the Super Soul and that of one's spiritual master. Here in this movement, this temple, this Hare Krishna movement, we have our spiritual master for everyone. Everyone's Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So I will try to speak on Bhagavad Gita based on his Bhaktivedanta purports or explanation of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. You right now are performing the first item of bhakti, devotional service. That first item is called Shravanam, hearing. So right now, you are linking with God, the Supreme, by means of hearing. So I beg you to turn off your cell phones so that you will not be disturbed or distracted, and try to hear with rapt attention the message of Bhagavad Gita. If you are agreeing, please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srila Prabhupada writes in his Bhagavad Gita explanation. He says that there are 5 subject matters. In Sanskrit, known as Īśvara, Jīva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. And they are all interrelated. These are the 5 subject matters of the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Īśvara refers to God. When we say God, we mean the controller. Now, within this material world, there are various levels of controllers. The parents control the children. The government tries to control the citizens. The demigods, devatas, are controlling the living entities on the planets. But we find from Bhagavad Gita, and we also find in other Vedic scriptures, there is a supreme controller who has no controller other than himself. Therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, I am the supreme controller. Mattak parataram nanyat. There is no controller other than me. Aham savasya prabhava. Mattak sarvam pravartate. Krishna also says, everything comes from me. There are only 2 energies. One of the things, 5 subject matters I mentioned was Prakriti. So there are 2 Prakritis, material and spiritual. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of both the Prakritis. Anything material or spiritual, I am its origin. So one of the most important concepts in Bhagavad Gita is to accept the fact that Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, is the supreme controller. Therefore, Īśvara. Or, in the words of the creator, Lord Brahma, Īśvara Padama Krishna. Lord Brahma in his Brahma Samhita says, Īśvara, controller, Padama, supreme. Who is it? Krishna. And Krishna is also known by so many other names, especially Govinda. Everybody say, Govinda. Such a beautiful sounding word, Govinda. So the first item from which all the other items, I said there's 5 subject matters. All the other 4 come from Īśvara, come from God, come from Krishna. Item number 2, Jiva, the living entity, the soul, you. The first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna begins his instructions in chapter 2, Krishna is in 20 verses explaining to Arjuna, Arjuna, you are not this body. You are not your clothes. You are not the car you drive. The body can be compared to clothes or can be compared to a yantra, a machine. In chapter 18, Krishna says, Yantra rudhani mayaya. You, Jiva, are like sitting on a machine made of material energy. That's the body. So Jiva, what is Jiva? What is soul? Best analogy, sun and the sun ray. The sun ray has all the ingredients of the sun planet. The difference between the sun planet and the sun ray is in terms of potency. The sun ray only has a very tiny potency of the sun compared to the unlimited potency of the sun globe. In the same way, Jiva, Atma, soul, is nothing but the energy of God. So it has all the energies, all the qualities of God. The difference is quantity of potency. The impersonalist Mayavadi, they say God and the Jiva are equal. That's like saying the sun ray is equal to the sun. No, they're equal in quality, but not in quantity. The same way you and I, Jiva, we are equal in quality with God. We're spiritual. God is spirit, Brahman. And we are also Brahman, that's another word, meaning spirit. Brahman is eternal truth. So we are Brahman, God is Brahman, but God is Para Brahman, the superior Brahman. Arjuna admits this in the Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna had so many doubts, but he surrendered to Krishna, and little by little, Krishna removes all of Arjuna's doubts. At the end, Arjuna admits, now all my doubts have been removed. I am now ready to act according to your direction. And all throughout Bhagavad Gita, the message of Krishna has been the same. Get up and fight. Krishna's instructions are consistent throughout. After hearing the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, all of Arjuna's doubts were cleared. But in chapter 10, Arjuna heard from Krishna 4 nutshell or essential verses of Bhagavad Gita. And after hearing those, Arjuna said to Krishna, Parang Brahma, you are the supreme spirit. We are subordinate spirit. We're not the supreme. We're Brahman, we're spirit, but subordinate. Now some people don't like that. But the fact remains, you can't become something you're not already. So the position of Supreme Controller, that is already fulfilled by Krishna. You cannot become. You are what you are. You're eternally who you are. But don't worry, you can be completely happy just being and realizing who you are. Now, the relationship between Jiva and Īśvara, the relationship between soul and God, bottom line definition, loving service. Why do we exist? This is an existential question. Why does the soul exist? Why did God, Krishna, manifest the unlimited living entities? Unlimited means you can't count. Just like the waves of the ocean, they keep coming and coming and coming. There's no end. You'll die before you come to the end of the waves. So there's no counting the innumerable living entities. So the existential question is, why did the one God manifest all the innumerable living entities? And the answer is, in order to share, love, and give an opportunity to the living entity to exchange a loving relationship. That's why we exist. Why does a husband and wife come together and union and have children? Because they have their life together as husband and wife, but now they want to expand their happiness, and they want to share their wealth, their bounty with their children. Children can be considered expansions of the parents, just as the soul, Jiva, Atma, is also an expansion of God, Krishna. So we exist in order to exchange
loving service. That is why we exist, to exchange loving service. Service is the most congenial form of intimacy. I've given many talks over the years, counseling prospective husbands and wives, and even husbands and wives. And sometimes I'm asked, what is the ideal marriage situation? And it's very clear. The ideal marriage situation, the wife is thinking, how can I serve the husband? And it can't be a one-way street. The husband also has to think, how can I serve my wife? It's all based on this attitude of service. But once that attitude becomes exploitation, then everything falls apart. So the husband agrees, I will serve and be the well-wisher of my wife, and simultaneously the wife agrees, I will be the well-wishing servant of my husband. And in that way, the honeymoon will last 100 years, if that can be maintained. So the soul exists to exchange a loving relationship based on service with God. And it's reciprocal, as Krishna himself says in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. Ye yatam mam prapadyante tangs tataiva bhajam yaham. Krishna makes it very clear, because another principle of Bhagavad Gita, free will. We have minute independence, free will. Without free will, you cannot have the L word. L meaning love. Love cannot be forced. No. Love has to be voluntary. So even though we exist to exchange loving service with God, He does not force us. Since we're part and parcel of God, we also have this quality of independence. Krishna has this, what is called swarat, complete, absolute independence. Krishna can do anything and there's no reaction. He is completely free to do anything and everything, and there's no consequence. He's completely independent and free. We also have freedom, but minute freedom. That's the catch. Because God is infinite and we are infinitesimal. We are little, tiny, poquito, pequeño portions of God. Infinite, infinitesimal. And one of the qualities is independence. We can choose whether to love and serve God or not. That's up to us. It's our choice. We get to choose. Do I want to serve God in a loving, submissive mood? Or do I want to do my own thing? Do I want to be independent? And there is a place. Those who want to love and serve God, they reside in the spiritual kingdom with God. But those who want to be independent, they come to Los Angeles. Or they come anywhere in this material world. And what are they trying to do? Independently enjoy. I want the kingdom of God, but I don't want God. We'll be hearing about Ram in the next weeks or so. We'll hear about Ram Rajya, the kingdom of Ram. But we also, in connection with Ram, there is the kingdom of Ravana. the head of the Rakshasa dynasty. So, Ravana, he also wanted a kingdom. Actually, he had Lanka, known for its vast quantities of gold. Ravana also wanted a kingdom, but he didn't want God. He wanted his own separate, independent state where there is no God. So free will is there. So the whole gist of Bhagavad Gita is to convince the reader to once again choose or make the decision that I want to be the submissive, loving servant of God. And the nature, now we come to number 3. We talked about Īśvara. We talked about Jiva, but then there's the third principle, Prakriti. Here in this context, Prakriti refers to the material manifestation, the material energy, which is sometimes known as the illusory energy, is also described like that. It's a temporary manifestation. So, the living entity now existing in this material world has to grapple with the complexity of this material nature. The material nature is an emanation from God as well, as I pointed out at the beginning. Everything comes from God, including this material energy. And since He has designed it, He explains its nature in the pages of Bhagavad Gita. One very famous line, Dukkalayam Ashasvatam. The manufacturer, by his own statements, is giving a disclaimer. I'm sure you have watched television at some point in time, and you've seen those drug commercials. Buy this drug, and then at the end of the commercial, may cause this, They're giving so many disclaimers, right? Because they don't want to get sued. And some of them are really fantastic. May cause death, may cause stroke, may cause blindness. Yay! Why do I want to take any of this? But they say it real fast. Death? So the drug company puts a disclaimer. So the manufacturer of this material energy, who is it? Krishna. He says in Bhagavad Gita as a disclaimer, Dukkalayam Ashasvatam. Meaning, Krishna says, by the way, this material world is a temporary place of suffering. Don't shoot me. I'm only the messenger. Okay? But the manufacturer says, this material energy is a temporary place of suffering. And then he goes further. You can go high, up to the highest planetary systems, or down, low. Doesn't matter. High, low, Earth is in between. It's not too bad, not too good. That's where the Earth is. Earth is, The heavenly planets, pretty good. The lower planets, bad. And Earth, you know. You ask somebody, like people ask me, how you doing? How's your health? That's the material world. You can't, it's just the nature. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives you the fundamental concepts of what is this material nature and how to deal with it. This is what is so nice about Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. He describes it, but he also gives you the antidote. He gives you the remedy. He gives you the ways and means how to deal with this material energy. I remember I was not raised on Bhagavad Gita. I was raised on the Bible by the nuns of Our Lady of Loretto Catholic School. And also my father would preach to me every Sunday after Mass. So I'd get, that's why do you think I'm a preacher? I was brainwashed from the very beginning. So what I like in the Christian Bible, there's the story of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve messed up. They didn't keep their contract with God, and they were cast out of the Garden of Eden, and they were completely on their own. But in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is so kind. He's giving you access, the keys, how to navigate this material world and come out successful. So, what are some of the basic concepts of this Prakriti, material energy? Number one, it's comprised of three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. Everything we do in life, in terms of the material energy, is categorized according to these modes of nature. And if you read Bhagavad Gita in chapter 14, chapter 17, chapter 18, I'm giving you hints where to do your study, because Bhagavad Gita is meant to be studied every day, not just on Sunday, but Bhagavad Gita is meant to be read and studied every day for your own benefit. Some people misunderstand when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, surrender. So some people think, oh, Krishna is some egomaniac. He wants everyone to bow down and worship. No. When Krishna is telling us to surrender, it's because Krishna knows it's for your own good. When I preach to children in my personal congregation all these years, I still do with all the children. I tell the children, this is why the parents love me, by the way. I tell the children that you should respect and obey your parents because they only have your interest at heart. Even though it may sound like they're being cruel when they use that bad word, no. No children wants to hear the word no. And so they think, oh, my daddy, because he said no. No. No, it's not no. What is actually happening is the parent can see what is in the actual best interest of the child. So I've always told the children, please understand that your mother and father are your best well-wishing friends. And that's why I've been so successful over these years. And now some of those kids are now themselves parents. And so I have to keep doing it. I have to tell their kids. So, three modes of nature. Everything is governed by these three modes of nature. So, there is eating. Everybody loves to eat. But you can eat in the mode of ignorance. You can eat in the mode of passion. You can eat in the mode of goodness. And you can eat transcendentally. Who wants to eat transcendentally? That's coming up. I'm going to stop at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we will all go and eat transcendentally. Because we're not eating vegetarian food. It's in the vegetarian category, but it's not vegetarian food. It's Krishnatarian food. It has been offered to Krishna. Therefore, it's Krishnatarian. So we're not vegetarian, we're not vegan, we're not this and that. We're Krishnatarian, which is why I joined this movement. Because nothing beats Krishna Prasad. How many agree? Jai. I'm getting an appetite just talking about it. But I still got 20 minutes. Don't worry. It'll go by fast. Besides, they're not ready to serve out anyway. So you might as well stay here and listen to my excellent lecture. I mean, I am the best, right? Jai. So, eating in the modes of nature. You can work. There's work according to the modes of goodness, passion, ignorance, endeavoring, thinking, determination, sacrifice, penance, austerities. You can do these things in different modes. So at least Bhagavad Gita is pointing out, if you act in this way, you're going to be in the mode of goodness. You act in this way, passion this way, ignorance. And the thing about Bhagavad Gita, the end results are not the same. Like there's some people, they preach a nonsense philosophy. Yatamat tatapat. They think, doesn't matter what you do, everybody gets to the same end. That's not what Bhagavad Gita teaches. I'm sorry. I've read the Bhagavad Gita more than once. Okay? And even every time I read it, it doesn't change. So the results of the modes of nature are different. Very clearly in chapter 14, if you live your life in the mode of ignorance, you're going down, lower. You're becoming more and more materialistic. Right now we're in the middle, human being, but there are life forms lower, animals, aquatics, birds, insects. These are lower life forms. Why do we have these life forms? For people who nurtured as a human being the mode of ignorance. They go down. If you foster the mode of passion, then what happens? You come back as a human being. Now just think about it. Do you want to come back again as a human being and go through the same junk that you had to go through? Going to school, growing up, dealing with this and that, right? You've all gone to school, you've gone to college. You don't want to have to repeat the grade again. You've worked so hard, you want to graduate, you want to progress. But if I fostered the mode of passion, there's no graduation. You come back and do it again, and do it again, if you stay in the mode of passion. But if you nurture the mode of goodness, you're going up. There are higher realms of existence in the planets and realms of the demigods, or the planets of the rishis and sages. That's if you live your life by the mode of goodness. It's all there in Bhagavad Gita. But if you develop spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, the actual essence of Bhagavad Gita, then you will transcend. You'll not come back and take birth. This is mentioned in chapter 14. Mang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati yaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Arjuna asked the question, my Lord, I don't want to come back in my next life as a demigod or as a human being. I don't want to be degraded into a lower form. I want to transcend. How do I do that? Arjuna asked Krishna. How do I transcend? Krishna's statement is very clear. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So the key words, bhakti yogena. Bhakti yogena means Krishna consciousness, acting for Krishna. Like I said, what are you doing right now for Krishna? You are hearing, right? I am speaking about Krishna. There's remembrance of Krishna, serving Krishna. There are 9 basic categories of how you serve Krishna, which is under the category of bhakti, loving service. If your devotional service is uninterrupted, moment to moment, you transcend these modes of nature. That's how to achieve Brahma Bhuyaya, your original spiritual status in the kingdom of God. You simply have to go on hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, remembering Krishna, worshiping Krishna, praying to Krishna, eating for Krishna. Again, 15 minutes to go. Remember, you're eating for Krishna. All right? It's a form of devotional service. That's how you otherwise, you're going to get categorized in one of these three modes of nature, and there is a different result. This material energy, Krishna says, is under my direction. I am pulling all the strings. It's not independent. I have set it up, everything that's going on. Now, we can introduce the fourth item. The fourth item is Kala, the time factor. When Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita requested Krishna to show him his universal form, the universal form showed Arjuna this gigantic form with thousands of heads, thousands of arms. It was all very mysterious, awe-inspiring. Different emotions were being evoked by Arjuna. He was bewildered, fearful, amazed, so many different emotions as he was seeing this panoramic, all-pervasive, gigantic, colossal form. And Arjuna could see the opposite party who we had to fight was entering the mouth of the universal form, and he was smashing them to pieces. So after seeing this, Arjuna said, "Who are you? What is your objective?" And the universal form replied, "I am time, and I have come to destroy everything." So in this material world, there is time. Anything in this material world has an expiration date, including your own body. There's an expiration date. Like when you buy some product, it'll say used by such and such date. After that, you take it, you're going to get sick. So everything made of material energy is under the control of time. And the funny thing about time, imperceptible. I have very graphic understanding of this. I'm like anybody. I was having fun. I was enjoying. And then one day I looked in the mirror. Oh my God, I have a gray hair. What? Where did that come from? Oh my God. Then I used to have 20/20. I was so proud. I have 20/20 vision. Then at around the age 45, 50, I can't read. What? No longer 20/20. Oh, now I can read. The eyesight is going. My wife tells me repeatedly, I have to say sometimes, what? She says, you're losing your hearing. Right? Everything is dwindling. And every day I get up, there's another another ache, another pain. It's hard to get up. This time factor is very, very cruel. When we're young and handsome or beautiful, we think, this is the life. That's all right. Just wait. The day is coming. You will freak out. Yes. Time factor is, that's why Krishna said, time I am. And I have come to destroy everyone. Nobody gets out alive. Then we come to number 5, karma. Karma now, this is one Sanskrit word that America finally has learned. Karma, because you hear it in everything. You hear it in the sports report. They talk about, yeah, they got their karma. You hear it in politics. Everywhere you go, karma, karma, karma. Right? You even got credit karma. I mean, for crying out loud. It's all, America has finally understood this word. One day they will understand this word, Krishna. Everybody say, Krishna. Yes, that's our job. We have to get to the point that even on Fox Noise they say, Krishna. I can't wait when I hear that Sean O'Hannity or whatever that guy, and he says the word Krishna. Then I know we have done something. Everybody should understand this word. What was that word? Krishna. But you have to do it. You have to spread it. It has to become all pervasive. That's all they're talking about everywhere. You turn on the cell phone, Krishna. You turn on the TV, Krishna. You turn on the radio, Krishna. That's our goal. Everywhere they go, Krishna. So karma. What is karma? Karma means I'm a living entity, but as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is that word? Mamai bangso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manak shashtan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. Krishna says, right now, Jiva, you're a hybrid. You're a mix of matter and spirit. You're spirit, but somehow or other you have to deal with this material body and material energy. So right now it's hybrid. So you're struggling. That's our situation. Living in this material world means struggle. I don't care if you're a billionaire or a pauper. Both of them are struggling with the material nature. Everybody, there's no excuse, right? Like we have this president now. He thought it was going to be like a reality TV show. And then he realized, boy, this is hard work. Duh! Yeah, this is kind of hard. I can't play golf every day. Then why did you go in the first place? Anyway, I'm not going to get political. My wife has forbidden me. Okay. So, the fact of the matter remains, I don't care if you're a president, you're a demigod, a demon, a worm. Everybody, top to bottom in this material world, is struggling with this material energy. The 6 senses, including the mind. Including the mind. So since we have to deal with, you can't escape it. You have to deal with this material energy. You're in it. You can't escape it. Even you think, this is what happens. People get so disturbed by the material energy, they commit suicide. You haven't escaped anything. You're still going to deal with the material energy after committing suicide because you don't kill the soul. Yes, you can't escape it. You have to deal with it. You have to face it. That's what Bhagavad Gita is doing. Bhagavad Gita is showing you how to deal with this material energy and come out on the other side and go back home, back to Godhead by surrendering to Krishna. So what is karma? Karma means the choices, the decisions you and I make in dealing with the material energy. at every moment, you are being forced to make a decision. Do I want to go here? Do I want to go here? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? Do I want to eat this? Do I want to eat that? Do I want... At every... Like right now, you're thinking, I had enough of this guy. Do I want to leave? I want to stay. At every moment, we're being forced to make decisions. And the results of that decision is called your karma, baby. You made a decision. Now, after the decision, this is the result. And as I mentioned before, who set up the results? There he is. Blame it on Krishna. He set up the whole matrix. I know a lot of these kids, because I know from my grandson, you've played thousands of hours of video games. Oh, not me. I never played. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. These video games. So you do this, then this happens. Or you do this, something else happens. Right? Video games is all based on karma. So life is one big video game. You made a decision, you got a certain reaction. And what's so beautiful about Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling you ahead of time, you decide to do things in the mode of ignorance, what are you going to get as a result? Suffering. If you decide to act according to the mode of passion, you'll get mixed suffering and happiness. You'll get a mixture. And if you act in the mode of goodness, you'll get some temporary happiness. Key word, temporary. Because nothing lasts forever and it ends. Oh, like you take your kids to Disneyland. It's 12 o'clock. The parents said, okay, that's enough. No, we just got here. We want to stay long. Right? We've all had that experience. Right? So, Bhagavad Gita is saying, again, going back to that transcendence, there is three kinds of karma. Karma, akarma, vikarma. Vikarma is sinful activities. Activities which violate the laws of nature. The laws of nature is synonymous with the laws of God. I use that because I know some audiences that I speak to, they don't like the G word, God. As soon as you say God, they turn you off. Oh, he's talking about God, bye. So I'm clever, right? I won't mention God. I'll say laws of nature. Oh, this guy's very smart. Laws of, sounds good. Yes, but we know the laws of nature is the laws of God. If you violate the laws of nature, which means the laws of God, you will suffer. Then there's regular karma, which means you didn't violate the laws of God and you got some temporary material happiness. But then there's akarma. Akarma means spiritual, transcendental activities. And the results of spiritual transcendental activities is ananda. Ananda means spiritual bliss, happiness that increases at every moment. So I could go on for 3 more hours, no problem, but I promised you 6 o'clock. So let's end with my favorite #1 song, the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I pray to Krishna that you're all successful in your life as you make your decisions, and hopefully you will learn to transcend by surrendering to Krishna and performing Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Class is dismissed. Please take to your full satisfaction. Krishna Prasad.